shit or not. We gonna talk about it. I'm going to finish the housekeeping rules. Again, DJ Will is here. He has his tip box here. I'm the host. We got the tip box here for the host. If you do not smoke cigars, you can support the establishment by buying a cigar for the host. That is a new rule. So buy me a cigar, and when you buy the cigar, you can put it right there in that box. I promise you I'll see it, and I promise you I will smoke it. So that is one of the other housekeeping. Be sure it's not a nasty cigar. I don't mind the sweet one if it's not too sweet. But I prefer the ones that are already. You gotta rub the table. You gotta rub the show.
Wait,
let me tell you
hey,
this. Nigga shit too.
That one of the rules. Make the money.
See, I had to guess.
There you go. She also, maybe she did some unniggerish shit because she also brought us to the next rule, which is respect the mic. Damn. Don't be trying to throw the host off with weird questions.
That part.
True. But also, yeah.
Nigga heavy.
But also, if you do have something to say or if you have a phone call to take, I know it's cold outside, but you can go outside and take the call outside in the front or the back. You're going to find the cats out there either way. So please respect the microphone. And when people are talking and asking questions, we ask that you respond one person at a time. I know we get excited about our responses and get excited about the shit we want to say, and that's great. We can only hear one person at a time. I think that is it. So, one more thing. A few weeks ago, we had some folk on the sick and shut-in list. Q was on the sick and shut-in list at one point. So Q is back. Y'all give it up to Q. And one of our other favorite high-action people was also on the sick and shut-in list. She is back. Y'all give it up to Christina.
Yay!
Glad to have you back. Glad to have you back. All right, so we're going to start with a question. I had one that I told Q about, but I just changed my mind. Because we were listening to this amazing music that we grew up on that was thoughtful and it was lyrical and it was well written, or even if it was just some simple shit like some cold wine. It's
Cold wine.
That is funny to be on the wine, but it still meant something. So what happened? And I know as the generations go on and things change and things become different, but a lot of the mainstream music now is just so vastly different than what mainstream music was like when we were growing up. Like, it was some real good shit back then, like from the 60s and the 70s up to like 2000, 2005, 10. Then shit started to go kind of left. So what happened? What happened to music? Why has music changed so much?
I have an answer.
I got you. Go ahead.
I think it was a money issue when it comes to the black community. They paid them for the bullshit, and then the override, which we grew up on, was the good shit. The black love, you feel me? So that's where you get the bitches and hoes at, because they gave them the majority of the money. They paid them the millions of dollars to keep producing that. So that became mainstream, which took the old stream, which is when we were living through it, whether we were poor or not, you feel me? We still were a community, we still a family. You feel me? We still had a great time in the times. Red lights like the music that we'll play, excuse me, you feel me? Those were good times. Now they're bred on something different, and I think it was about money. I think money changed.
Money. Yes, sir. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, wait. I have my first. Did you want to say something? Okay, well, go ahead and talk to you, baby. Do you need to take your baby outside? Talk to you, baby. Yeah. If you're going to be loud, then take your baby outside. Okay. So you want to go down?
I agree.
Right.
It's always the nigga shit is always the best shit.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I feel like
a couple things. One, music right now, a lot of the samples of those schools. Secondly, the music right now is not original, because back in the day, when you heard a song first, you could say, hey, that's such and such. We can't do that anymore because all the music sounds alike. Like I said, like you said, I wouldn't say just putting out albums, because they did that back in the day. A lot of groups put out albums, but you can tell, like, if Luther Vandross put out something, you know it's Luther. If Donny Hathaway put out something, you can tell Donny Hathaway different from Stevie Wonder. So you can't tell who the artists are, because the music, like I said, the music is always sounds alike.
Yeah, I would go with Q. Q made a great point. The best music and musicians from that day, Shaka Khan, Kool and the Gang, Donald Isley, outside of maybe Michael Jackson or Prince, was like international worldwide fame. The best musicians, they're not in a position where they're wealthy. But I think they love what they did. They didn't worry about the money. And you look at today where Soulja Boy can do a video that go viral, Frank That, or Uzi Vert, or Little This, Little That, stuff like that. They're making more money ever than the musicians that put that time in, that they're sampling from, and everything else. So I think it definitely looks like they sold their soul for money. And you can take rap music, like, you know, it was a message behind Grandmaster Flash, a message in the Bronx, that sample video, the bubbles, and how it looks in the Bronx, the story high, projects and everything else. And now we got gimmicks. We got gimmicks. We have no rhyme or reason. You know, so young generation, I guess they're trying to find themselves. And I guess maybe they think they're very critical. Because I tell my students, I was having this conversation the other day, you know, talking about the LeBron stuff and this, that, blah, blah, blah. I said, like, when did it become acceptable and comfortable for you guys to talk about those who paved the pathway? You know, I said, I'm Gen X. You know, 1965 to 1970, I mean 1980. The Boomers, 1946 1964. We're still chasing their ratings and we respect their ratings. The Angela Bassett's, the Denzel Washington, the Michael Jordan, the Bo Jacksons, you know, Whoopi Goldberg, just all the Stevie Wonders, all from that generation right there. They got more Oscars, Emmys, Grammys. You know, they kind of set a cornerstone of great music, acting, and all kind of arts and things like that. It's like, look, man, you up with today's generation, you want to read everything out and start talking greatest, and I'll cook them and all this other bullshit and blah, 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 blah. But every time I listen to what something on radio, it's always something that sounds like, can we just find some original shit about our artists back then? They had originality. So today it's just gimmicks.
I remember a few weeks ago I was listening to Big L and just him and like him, like this, like these guys, they told stories. Like
Yes.
you listen to it and like it's almost like you were there experiencing what it is they were rapping about. And that's that storytelling element, that part of just making it meaningful, which is just really missing.
I feel like, you know, through time, music changes. And it's all about relating with the time. Like, some of y'all may have came up in the era where it was the blues and the smooth groove and R&B. Some may have came up in the 80s, you know what I mean, with the R. Kelly, 90s with the R. Kelly, you know, things like that. You know, and me myself, I came up in the late 90s and the early 2000s, you know, where we was in the club and we was dancing all night fucking long, you know, where we could appreciate the music because it made us feel in a certain type of way. I think it goes with the generations. Nowadays, I don't know what the hell is going on with the music. I can't tell you nothing them folks is saying, but definitely, them young kids is vibing to it. Whether they talking about blocks and switches or they talking about loving and hugging, you know what I mean? It's with the times. It's just like our parents. Our parents didn't understand the music that we were listening to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just goes with the times. And the generations before will always look at the music now and be like, "Nah, that ain't it," because that wasn't your style. That wasn't what you went with. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand how the people of that time appreciate that music and what's going on, what's the environment, what's the atmosphere.
That shit got disrespectful.
I will say though that I
Say it
think
again.
That shit got disrespectful. I'm sorry.
I think
Go ahead and get that. Go ahead and get
I think this generation, or at least I'm Gen X, but I look back at the music that my parents listened to, I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I think this generation is purposely separating themselves from people who set the bar, who set the standard for whatever reason.
But the world is totally different as well.
That's true too.
The world is totally follows suit as well. So it's part of that atmosphere. It's the environment that they're living in. Back then,
But we
you
had
could see
it
the
had to
things
get
that you see
changed though.
today.
I'm sorry. It got changed though.
Now we might say that, but look at the current environment they're living in.
I'm with you. You ain't saying nothing wrong.
So the question for me was why has music changed so much? And I guess I would add in, for me, why has the dynamics, the quality, the meaningfulness, like why is that?
Have we ever thought about psychological warfare?
That's what it is.
When we are dealing with the 70s, it was all about love, it was all about unity, it was all about this. Then we come into the 80s with the Chuck D, KRS-One, now we're on a positive sound and playing. So now they had to shift this, not the musicians, but the industry that overrides the music.
That's right.
Shifts it because now we're becoming more knowledgeable of who we are and
we're
where
coming
we came
together.
from and the love we have for our community. So I have to shift this and move this
Gotta
to
stop.
another arena so that I can
Because
see
they
it
already went through
the way
it.
I want.
That's right.
Wait, hang on. I'm gonna get somebody.
I don't. You want something?
No, I was. Oh, you have him? No, I'm trying to see. Go ahead.
Don't worry about that nigga invisible.
I'll be all
That nigga invisible. I'm not gonna give a fuck.
What I think the situation is that we as black folk should never have integrated. The generation we're
Ooh,
talking
I
about
agree,
was
man.
a pre-integration generation. They were raised by the people who had more. We had our morals, our focus.
That's right.
We integrated and we lost all. Denzel Washington's parents were pre-integration. They instilled certain things in us. I was just talking
Really?
Leave me to use the N-word.
That's a lick.
We were not
Hey,
allowed.
speak up.
we-
Speak
we
up.
weren't- We were not allowed to use the N-word growing up.
That's right.
Because that's our pre-integration generation. Worst thing that happened to Black America is integration.
I'll take that.
And so you relating that to the music, so the reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they match the music because the music they say reflect their life. I mean, I listen to a lot of Miles Davis and John Cole.
You also listen to Young G.
Yeah, I listen to them.
Yeah.
But those cats had on suits when they would come out. They didn't even go grocery shopping unless they were dressed. All that has to do with integration. We should never have integrated.
I agree with
Worst
that.
mistake Black folk ever did was integrate.
I agree.
Give me one second. I'm gonna get yes, sir.
I want to touch on everything everybody said. I agree with you. I agree with everything. The issue is the gap that we're talking about is a separation. The separation we spoke of. This generation doesn't seem to care about what came before them. All the rest of the generations do. Like, even though you're correct, my mom would tell me my music was trash. She would tell me my music was vulgar. But then I went and found Millie Jackson, and it was like, okay, mom, go on somewhere. You tripping. then I found all the comedy albums. I'm like, okay, come on, it wasn't just us. It didn't start with us. And it's the same thing. It's passed down, but somewhere in this gap, they don't have the love for what came before them. And I don't know where it came from. But I have a slight theory, but it's gonna go real left. In the street, all the stand-up people that was in the street, and it's in the street, but still, it was still some stand-up people in the street, was either killed or locked up. That left a hole on the street, and these children became crabs. Because they didn't have the same code to go by. At least we had some kind of a code.
That's design.
Yes, I said I'm touching on everything, and you're right. And it is part of the design. No, it goes back. It goes back to the design, and I'm gonna tell you why it goes back to the design. Exactly what that man right there was saying. When we talk about love, black love, and when we talk about unity, when we talk about being conscious, when we start talking about awareness, and that's where the music was going at that time period that y'all talking about. So the major label was like, no, we finna push this new, this new hardcore rap over here. We're gonna push this because they already went through it one time, and they couldn't stop us then. They had to kill everything. They had to kill the Black Panthers. They had to kill the Freedom Riders. They had to kill everything. And they knew, and they did their research. They knew exactly where it came from. It came from married black families. So that became their goal, to destroy black families and keep us separated. And it works.
I got a caveat.
We are.
I got a caveat.
Hey, ho. Listen. Hey, he got to stay with whoever he say.
She had it right here.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I agree that the fact that there's no more respect, because when I was growing up, it's always yes ma'am, no ma'am. I don't care if Miss May says something to you down the street. You always say yes ma'am, I'll get out your yard.
I agree with that.
There was never no disrespect. There's never F you or anything that we were never allowed to disrespect an adult and an elder. I don't care if you was 10 years, 5 years older than us, it was always okay.
Chain of order.
Whatever. We never was able to speak out of character. It got to a point that I feel like us as a black community have got so comfortable disrespecting each other, and it's so disrespectful. We got so comfortable, and people uphold that, saying, oh yes, it's okay. So when it comes down to the music, it's just comfortable calling women bitches and hoes. It's okay speaking bad on your kid's mother or your ex-wife or your current wife or whatever relationship you're in. Or your baby daddy. I agree. Because at the end of the day, no kids make you mad. No kids stay with it. So I will always have respect. When they begin, the respect is gone. Respect is a figment of a lot of people's imagination. People do not have the respect anymore. So when it comes down to even down to the music, respect is more so of F that nigga, you a fuck boy. You gotta speak on them. You just gotta say, okay, I don't deal with them. Their respect factor in women, and I know I believe this respect for this, women have lost that femininity and that we're supposed to have. And men lost their being a gentleman to women. Because it's so easy to be disrespectful versus being respectable and being a stand-up person. And it sucks because the black community is always supposed to be, that's the beautiful queen right there, that Whitney. She's gorgeous. It just, for me personally, I always give a black woman always supposed to win. A black man, I always want to see him win and succeed. But that's the generation I grew up in. I grew up in the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. I'm born in 86. I grew up in the 90s. But that, after a certain age in the 2000s, all of that was there.
They forced what I consider what you would call mental health. Because I go through social media, you feel me? I go through the dating sites, you feel me, and all that for content and for cues out of horse. That's how you promote it, you feel me? When one can say, hey, listen, come at me like a queen, talk to me, or I will block you, you feel me? You need to come correct or don't come at all. And the first picture is this. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You just said you finna block me, but your first picture is your ass out.
But
Okay,
But
hold
now,
on, hold on.
I kind of
Behind you.
Then.
Okay, so your overall question, can you repeat that again? Your overall question was what?
Why why has music changed so much as far as quality, as far as being meaningful? Like, why has it so drastically changed?
Right. So I get that. The thing that I feel like it is we are in different times. You know, to follow up with our kids and the things that they do listen to, I can be like this parent, like, oh, well, they're not going to listen to this and that. That's not going to stop them. But to also understand them. Like back in the day, my dad, we was listening to Tupac. My mom didn't understand it. But when she started listening to that, she started understanding and being able to relation with her kids on how they felt, right? So at the end of the day, music is a therapy. Music is a gift. All of that. Things change in generations. We have to change. We know. You wonder why the structure been gone. Big mama gone. Big daddy gone. Shit, grandma didn't even know how to drive. Let's talk about them days. You know what I'm saying? But then when we get into this how life is now for like us now, like if we're gonna put it on some grown shit, like at the end of the day, everybody wanna be real and ain't nobody real. It's so rare to find somebody that is very like genuine and into their spirituality. Whatever that spirituality is, your spirituality it may not be mine, but your vibes, your energy, being able to reciprocate that, you know, that's the aura. So when my kids listen to Sarah C. Red, I know they good, because listen, mama at home talks to them like, this what we need to do and this how we gonna do it, and she like, yeah, but at the same time, yeah, I like that song.
When you disrupt that chain of order, it was a reason that our grandparents told you to shut the fuck up. It was a reason they say stay out of grown people's business.
She had to.
Now, hold on, but now y'all want to be so cool with your kids, so friends with your kids. So now this shit is going to change, because now they feel they got power, and you're less than them, because this is the generation of how it's going. Because now, who want to buck in here? You done got old and shit. You don't want to fight. Very few motherfuckers want to fight outside of me. I don't win, lose, or draw, I still a fight. You feel what I'm saying? Before I allow a kid to fucking disrespect me. They will allow their kids to motherfucking override them and say, no, stay. I don't give a fuck about your views and your opinions. They get that understood. Because I really already know them, because I'm raising them. You going with the fuck shit that I already know, and I'm trying to deter you from that. But now in this society that we living in, we try to give them that little leeway. I'm gonna be a friend. Let me listen. No, shut the fuck up. You need to listen to me, goddammit. You feel me? I already been there and done that. But you want to give these kids power. And you giving them power, this is what you get. They don't give a fuck about what you're talking about. Motherfucking kids will swing on you, tear your shit up, and all that. That'll never happen in my house. But once again, learning, my sister told me. She said to me one day, we was in a heated argument, she said, now mind you, we ain't left each other's side. She said, no, the problem is y'all men don't know how to lead. None of the men in the family know how to lead. Now let's get this understood. No, the men know how to lead, but understand what a man wants. It's really 3 things a man wants in his life. He want to fuck, he want to get fucked up, and make some money. And all them 3 things make coincide. I need the money to get fucked up, and I need the money to fuck. He said that's his peace. Now the minute you disturb that peace, shit gonna go left. That's just the bottom line. So what a man does, I witnessed it in my own household. My father shut the fuck up when he shouldn't have. He should have overruled my mother. You feel what I'm saying? But you know why he didn't? Because he just wanted fucking peace. That's why he didn't fucking override. Well, he should have goddamn, no, nigga, you wrong as fuck. He should have fucking, you gotta at time, hey man, fuck what you're talking about. You gotta be like that in life. You feel what I'm saying? And you gotta understand, I'm gonna keep it moving.
But I'm going to disagree a little bit about a family structure, right? First, all right.
That's my family structure. You can't disagree with
No, he talking about mine. He talking about mine.
One point is, I think someone it's the controller of the industry, the money, right? Who dictate what's good and what's not, good music, what's not. Now, I kind of disagree with you when you say it takes a mother and a father, right? Yes, that's very important. However, when I grew up, there were a lot of single families. One family, mother, a lot of mothers, right? Single family. However, like someone said, it was the community that helped raise the kids. Like, I couldn't, like I said, if Miss Mayola said something to me, or I did something wrong, and Miss Mayola gave me a
neighbors
whooping,
could whoop you.
I got another whooping coming
Right.
when I got home. No question asked why Miss Mayola did it.
Right.
Because it was a community, when they said a village raised
Raised
the
a
children,
child.
that's what we're not missing. Now, in our music, let's go back. Back in the 90s, one group never won an Emmy, but in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Public Enemy. All right, listen to their music. X-Clan, listen to all their music. It's what they were saying. So, Public Enemy, they wouldn't play them on the radio. Why? The industry didn't want to hear that. All right, all these songs that the industry don't want us to hear. Who said it's an attack on us, right?
Right.
And that's what it is. The industry want this black music out. They want that out.
They want the negative
Now,
music
they
out.
want that,
and the
they
positive
want
music
that out.
and the positive
So,
music. They want it.
They
They
want
want the
that. And
because
my
see,
point is this. My point is this. When I raised my 3 kids, right,
Mhm.
their friends always used to come over our house,
right.
right? And they would say, they'll tell Kendall, your dad is so mean. And then he said, no, he isn't mean. He just has standards.
Right.
Now, you can't blame the children. You got to look at how the child was raised. Like, for example, and I'm not bragging, all 3 of my kids went to public school. Both of my sons went into the military as officers.
Good job.
I didn't do it, I raised old school. I didn't have to whoop them a lot, but it's what I instilled.
But you gave them structure.
But back to your point,
You gave them
I
structure
them-
and discipline.
I gave them pressure. So when the other kids came and didn't want my son to join the game, because they in public school, right?
Right.
They're like, no.
Right.
They had a plan. They knew.
They were
and I didn't
headstrong.
have to make that choice for them.
Give
You
a
know?
man, give a man a fish. You feed him for a day. Teach a man how to fish. You feed him for a lifetime.
He said he whooped ass. I want to get to
Little ass.
I want to get to
Don't
something he said, and it's a question based on what he said. So there's the word respect has gone around a lot, and the loss of respect that we have for each other. Does integration have anything to do with that?
Of course.
No.
Wait.
Hold on.
Why do you disagree? Why do you disagree?
I grew up.
Hold on, he ain't talk. You telling him?
Yeah, I'm talking. He
up.
said he disagreed.
I grew up at the beginning of an integration. I was born in '63. Raised in North Carolina, moved to Newark, stayed near the Newark projects. Integration did not mess us up, right? It's the way we raise our kids, okay? The way the kids are being raised right now. Integration didn't impact me. I'm so knowledgeable of who I am as a black person. Integration had nothing to do with that.
Really
Was
quick.
it?
But
Ain't no real quick shit, nigga. You ain't gonna jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
No,
Yes,
nigga.
sir. Yes, sir.
Integration messed us up from bringing down our community because what I call the
Thank
white
you.
man's ice chasing, right? If we didn't have integration, we would have kept our communities with doctors, lawyers.
Thank you.
Physicians.
Banks.
We were self-contained. We was good.
Yeah, that's right.
The breakdown of the family, us chasing European values and all that.
Right, trying to be like them.
Yeah, I agree.
Trying to be like them.
To where the music, when you We were, listen, I'm a music aficionado, and I was trying to stay out of this shit right there. But
It's okay.
every, to my man's point, I was born in '66. Civil rights movement began
Yes.
the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. Voting Rights Act, 64, 65. I was born in '66, right? When I came to a level of consciousness, I'm in Philadelphia, and the neighborhood is what it was. We all took care of each other.
Right.
We didn't even have to, so they might tell, you got your ass whooped by your cousins. And then they made sure that they didn't tell your parents because they didn't want to get you fucked up. But if somebody on the block seen it,
Right.
you got your ass whooped by your cousins.
And
by
you
people on the
got
block,
about
and
3
then
of
your
them.
auntie, and then when your parents came
Yep.
to pick you up. We self-police. So integration has nothing to do with that. As far as the music is concerned, every song I grew up hearing in the 70s had one word in it. What was it?
Love.
There
Love.
you go. So then what happened? What happened? The Jews are the motherfuckers that got the money. They own the industry.
They really
and they
own
was like,
this
yo,
motherfucking
they work 4% in this country, but they got the money, so they control shit. Lear Cohen, who was with Def Jam, even said out of his own mouth, we sold this shit because it made us money.
That's
So
right.
when they asked him, did you not care about life imitating art imitating life, and people getting killed on the streets and all that? He was like, well, I had to make
my money.
While people getting killed, you okay with that?
Yep.
That's what the fuck happened.
Yep.
Now, somebody said that we was listening to Public Enemy.
Yep.
We was listening to X-Clan.
Yep.
We was listening to all that shit, right? Who did they bring to the fucking team?
NWA
When I was listening
and
to that
Luke
shit,
Skywalker.